In Burkina Faso, revolution doesn't always wear a uniform. Sometimes it wears a head wrap. Sometimes it carries a child on its back. Sometimes it walks barefoot into a classroom it never had growing up, just to make sure her daughter will. This is the story of Burkina Faso's women, the teachers, the nurses, the farmers, the future ministers, and how under the leadership of Captain Ibrahim Traore, these women are not just being noticed, they are being empowered. This is their moment. This is their story. For decades, the women of Burkina Faso have carried heavy burdens. They've raised children through drought and displacement. They've sold goods in markets, woven cloth by hand, and harvested grains in blazing heat. They've stood between chaos and stability in communities affected by war, poverty, and neglect. They weren't asking for credit, they were asking for opportunity. And for the first time in generations, opportunity is answering back. Since coming to power in 2022, Captain Ibrahim Traore has made it clear, Burkina Faso's future belongs to the people. And women are not just part of that vision, they are essential to it. He didn't say it for applause. He didn't issue slogans. Instead, he gave women jobs. He gave girls education. He put women in leadership roles. He built hospitals, clinics, and classrooms, with women at the center of it all. Let's talk about education. Across Burkina Faso, thousands of girls once stayed home while their brothers went to school. Why? Because of poverty, because of long distances, because extremist groups targeted their villages and shut down schools. But under Traore's administration, that is changing. The government has expanded mobile classrooms and community-based schooling in areas affected by insecurity. And in those classrooms, it is often women who are teaching. Female teachers are being trained, supported, and deployed to lead education renewal from the ground up. Young girls who once feared stepping into school are now reading, writing, and dreaming bigger. And more importantly, they're being shown by example that women belong not just in the home, but in the heart of the nation's future. In healthcare, the transformation is just as real. With war and instability comes illness, displacement, and tragedy. But in Burkina Faso, new hospitals and clinics are being built in underserved regions, often led by female medical professionals, nurses, midwives, community health workers. These are not just jobs, they're lifelines. Under Traore's guidance, healthcare is no longer something women receive. It's something they deliver. Thousands of women are now trained in maternal health, child nutrition, emergency response, and public health education, especially in rural and conflict-affected areas. They are healing the nation, one village at a time, and in return, they are gaining respect, independence, and hope. Now look to the fields. Burkina Faso women have always been farmers, but for too long, they farmed without support. No equipment, no access to credit, no land titles in their name. That is now changing. Under the current leadership, agricultural programs are being redesigned with women in mind. Thousands of women are receiving microgrants, seeds, and training to improve productivity, not just for export, but for food security at the local level. In the Sahel region, female farming cooperatives are building food banks, storing grains, and stabilizing markets. They're not just feeding their families, they are feeding the nation. And what about government? What about leadership? For years, women were often asked to support from the sidelines. Today, they are stepping into office. Traore's government has opened space for female administrators, advisors, local leaders, and policymakers. These are not symbolic positions. These are women drafting laws, distributing aid, managing crisis response, and negotiating strategy. In provinces like Yatenga, Kadiogo, and Gourma, women are leading community councils, coordinating peace efforts, and designing education reform. They are not placeholders, they are policy drivers. They represent a future where power is not just masculine or military, but also maternal, thoughtful, and deeply rooted in service. What makes this different from other countries? In many parts of Africa and the world, women are spoken about only in the language of charity. They are portrayed as victims, as fragile, as something to save. But in Burkina Faso, women are being trusted to build. No Western NGO wrote this into a grant proposal. No international celebrity launched this movement. This came from within. This came from leadership that sees women not as accessories, but as partners in national sovereignty. And that leadership is being watched by girls who finally see themselves on the front line of the future. Ask any mother in Ouagadougou today what she wants for her daughter. She'll tell you, I want her to read. I want her to be safe. I want her to speak her mind. I want her to lead without fear. And for the first time in years, there is a government listening to her. Programs are being scaled up for women entrepreneurs starting small businesses, young women entering science, technology, and public service, mothers receiving support for maternal care and nutrition, displaced women receiving trauma care and reintegration assistance. This isn't perfection. There is still struggle. There is still resistance. But there is a clear shift in direction, and women are finally walking that road with confidence, not fear. For young girls across Burkina Faso, the message is loud and clear. You matter. You belong in the classroom. You belong in the clinic. You belong on the land. You belong in government. You belong in the story of this country. You are not a footnote. You are a future minister, a future doctor, a future president. And for the first time in decades, you can believe it, because someone in power believed it first. This is not just about development. It's about dignity. It's about making sure the women of Burkina Faso are never again invisible, never again limited, never again told to wait their turn. Under Captain Ibrahim Traore, the promise is not that women will be equal someday. The promise is that they are already essential today. And that is what makes this moment historic. If this gave you pride in the women of Burkina Faso, don't scroll past. Like the video, share it, comment below and tell us, who are the women changing your world? And if you want more stories that uplift, empower, and tell the truth, no one else will. Subscribe now, because the revolution isn't just in the military,